Peter, we're going to call this meeting to order at whatever time it be.
Okay, well, it now is 7:08.
So you guys have all heard it. There's only one person that hasn't heard the presentation, the Dog and Pony Show. So, do you want to? Does somebody have an extra?
Probably.
Okay.
You have an extra? Yeah.
So basically, we're just going to go read through the warning.
You don't need to read it anymore, Rich. You must have it memorized by now.
I fixed this one. It says Dover, not Dover.
Dover.
Yes.
You guys are doers.
So, legal voters of the River Valley Unified School District, comprising the voters of the towns of Dover and Wardsboro, are hereby notified and warned to me that Dover Town Hall and it didn't fix it. It's still wrong there. Andy, we have to rename the town hall to Doer. D-O-E-R.
Doer. You're a
Doer.
doer. You're a
Doers.
You're doers.
Vermont to conduct the following business. Article 1, to elect a moderator to serve for the fiscal year July 1, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. Currently, our moderator is Dr. Backus, and he has agreed to serve. And I tried calling him today, but he doesn't even have an answering machine anymore.
He's in Florida.
He is
They're
true.
on-
Is he in
They
Florida?
may be on vacation.
When is he?
They're coming back on Saturday.
Oh, okay. I'll send an email then. I
They
just
don't.
want. Huh?
They don't
That's
email.
They don't really.
Oh. Okay, because I had an email for him.
I'll try to drive up sometime. That's the easiest way to get him.
Okay, just I wanted to remind him about the meeting. So anyways, Dr. Backus has agreed to do it again. Article 2A, to elect a clerk to serve from July 1, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. And currently the clerk is Mr. McLean. He has agreed to do it again. As long as we do Article B. So we will elect Mr. McLean, and then if we turn down Article B, he will resign almost immediately. And Article B is to set a stipend of $2,000 for the clerk's position for FY 2019, and that was basically the first budget vote has to be by Australian ballot. They have to be commingled, so it's not an easy process like people vote in Wardsboro, people vote in Dover, and he just tallies up the numbers. And Andy made a presentation to the group, and the group all was very supportive and felt that was appropriate. So we, as a board, support that, to do that. 3A, to elect the WCSU treasurer to serve from July 1, 2018 through June 30th, 2019. We're going to ask for an amendment to the motion that the WCSU, that we not elect the WCSU treasurer, but that we elect our current treasurer, which is Marco Tellini. The WCSU reviewed reviewed these articles after the fact and decided that it would be much more prudent to have a different person signing the checks and the person that oversees the creation of the checks and all the other stuff. So they are going to recommend both to the River Valley group and to us that we have a disinterested third person be elected as treasurer. And I talked to Marco. He'll have to make 2 trips a week over to Newfane, Harmonyville. So he felt that because there won't be a lot to do the first year because there's not a lot of checks to sign, there's no payroll. $500 would be an appropriate stipend. Plus, on Article B, we'd like to ask for a friendly amendment that it include mileage paid at the same rate is for that month. And Marco has agreed to be treasurer. And just a note to both Article 2 and 3, the Wardsboro clerk / treasurer was asked, and she has no interest at all in either one of these positions. So, yeah.
But you said 2 trips a week. Did you mean
A
2 trips
month. Yes, thank you.
Is he going to show interest in the following year, or is this?
Marco would, yeah.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah, but he just with the stipend, he was saying that,
I'm sure that the additional workload the following year should be pretty.
and then we can also look at it and see how difficult. Those of you that you remember Frank Rucker.
Yeah.
When he was treasurer and he used to work out of Leland and Gray, what he would do is he would send stuff to the schools and to the treasurers in the towns through the school bus, So the bus that came to Wardsboro, he'd give them an envelope, they'd bring it here, and then the clerk would either stop here or somebody from the school would bring it over. So there may be other ways to help him do that. So we don't know until we get through the first
Before
year.
email. Right.
Yeah. Well, because you actually have to sign the check.
Right. That's great.
Article 4 to vote compensation for the school directors at $1,000 for FY 2019. We're going to ask for another friendly amendment to up that to $25,000 per board member.
It's true.
Andy, you'll make that motion for me, right?
Absolutely, man.
Wardsboro makes 200, Dover makes 2,000, so we kind of split it in the middle, and it's $1,000 each. It's not 1,000 for all 6 members, and we fight over it. Any questions? You're the only one that hasn't heard it. You read it? Cool. We'll be done in no time. She's going to say, like, the tape isn't even going to get off that little tab where they start recording. To set the day of the annual meeting is the second Tuesday in February's odd years in Wardsboro and even years in Dover at the town halls in the respective towns. And just because it's nothing that Wardsboro's odd and Dover's better or anything, it just, we did the first meeting, which happened to be in 17, which is an odd year in Wardsboro, and had a really good time. And you did an excellent job in preparing your students. And Matt, if he was here, we would compliment him. And I thought having the governor there, I think as far as I know, he's still this is the only one he's done the official start of a new district, so it's kind of something cool. And the questions were great for the governor. Then Article 6 is transact any other business. So we put down 6 or 7 things just to have some discussion. Review board of directors meeting locations and dates. We meet the first Mondays of the month in Wardsboro and the third Monday in Dover, and we start our meetings at 7. Review the work done by the board of directors to this date. We've done most of our policies, boilerplate policies. We created a calendar. We have a mission statement. We are very close to having a vision statement. We have some surveys. We hired Anita to do communications for us. We hired the people in Brattleboro to videotape us and give us these real fancy mics. And we have discussed kind of a plan on what we're going to do after we get our vision statement. We're going to set some guardrails and ask the superintendent then to come up with a school for us, a school plan, and he'll work with us over the summer. While that's happening, we're going to work on transportation and that other thing.
Yeah, school of choice.
School of choice, building
Building
of
of choice.
attendance. There's a fancy name for it.
Sure there is.
And I think that's pretty much what we've done, right?
You started to talk about negotiating with the.
Yeah. Oh, and we've sent a letter to the union about negotiations since we're both union schools, and that was required by us.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I can't. Had some good fun meetings
Good
too.
meetings.
Yeah.
Review the work calendar of the board of directors through September 2019. Anita's going to post that. I got a correction to make.
Yeah, I'm waiting for feedback before I make
Yeah,
that available.
I think I was fine with it. I don't know if anybody else got a chance to
No
look at it.
judgment.
You know what it was is on the end it says school governance unification care welcome. It's supposed to be R. You added a C.
Okay,
We do care though.
We do care, but yeah. And there's a work calendar. You know, basically what we did was we said these are what we have to do, and so we didn't get everything all jammed up. We put some stuff off, but by almost this time next year we'll be having an annual meeting again to talk about a budget vote. We do agree that in the articles of agreement have us that we will have a couple meetings in each town as a preliminary meeting or pre-meeting. And the budget will be by Australian ballot next year. It's required in our articles, but that can change. And there'll be a work calendar we'll hand out if anybody has any questions. I was excited. I pulled in and your parking lot was full.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Oh, and they all left.
That's when Bob was here.
Discuss the election of the directors representing Wardsboro. In Dover, we elect by Australian ballot, and in Wardsboro, they've always elected from the floor. Andy, our clerk, did a lot of research and found out that you can, because there's no at-large members and there's no commingled counting, we can have our elections be different in both towns. And so Wardsboro, we thought it'd be a good idea for the Wardsboro people, if they wanted to elect from the floor, that they still do that since they did that. And
Yeah, we just want to have a discussion about it, really, to see if it's something that people are really wed to or not.
We discussed it at the meeting just previously.
So what was the thought of the board?
This, they didn't make any kind of decisions, but they just kind of talked about it. They would be just went over the pros and cons essentially.
What were they?
Well, we've
You're on
always
TV.
oh, I'm on TV. We've always done it from the floor, as you said, and that's kind of tradition. We are concerned because our school meeting was always the night before the town meeting, so there was more involvement from the parents, and not having that meeting any longer, having it on the town meeting would may limit the number of parents that come to that meeting who may want to serve on the board, so we may not have as many people to choose from. Yeah, I guess that was I'm trying to think of some other things to talk about, but we kind of had believe there was no real lean from the. I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll see what people say at the meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You any other comment you want to make on it?
No,
or-
I would say Dwight's, that's correct. We had no prevailing opinion, either floor or Australian ballot.
Yeah.
But if you do it Australian ballot, parents will have to show up town meeting day to vote by ballot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they don't
Is
have
that?
to.
Oh, they can't vote prior to the.
Well, I
meeting?
guess you can get an absentee ballot, right?
There would be, if you did it by Australian ballot, absentee ballots would be available probably the middle of February, and
Mhm.
people could vote absentee ballot for
Right.
your officers. Yeah.
But it's still requiring them to at least go to the town clerk's office
Right.
when they're open, right? Or can you do that by mail or
You can-
email?
Yes, you can do it by mail as well, yes. You can
Okay.
call up and request a ballot. Mhm.
We were.
Okay.
There was a concern if it was by Australian ballot and we didn't have anyone run, what would happen? And then I was.
So if
it'd
you
be
do a
write-in,
write-in-
it would be a write-in on the day of.
And there has to be a minimum a percentage of your voters. Like, you can't just get like 2 write-ins and say, "Oh, I won."
It's the same percentage as the percentage of signatures on a petition, which is 1% of your checklist.
So it's
Right.
5 in Wardsboro.
Right. So that was kind of discussed as though if we what would happen in that scenario, it'd end up being a vote from the floor anyhow.
Well, if there wasn't no, it wouldn't be a vote from the floor. Well, kind of, but
essentially.
if you didn't have anybody though, then the board gets to appoint.
Gets to a point.
Right, but I'm saying right that
Yeah.
if no one was written in at that town meeting, is that essentially right?
I'm not sure I quite
If
understand.
no one runs by Australian ballot, no one, and then they can write in at town meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could, yes.
So
people
it kind of becomes a vote from the floor, if you will.
If you approached it that way and said, hey, look, so-and-so wants to run, everybody who hasn't
Well,
voted
can you-
yet, you know, if you
Can
wanna
you
vote for
discuss that
so-and-so.
at town meeting?
Now you can, they changed the law. You
Okay.
can discuss offices at town meeting while people are voting.
Hmm.
Last couple of years they changed
You're
it.
gonna have to give the Wardsboro Select Board and clerk a workshop in voting before we have our town meeting, because I can picture the questions now.
I mean, it's all pretty much standard.
But they vote from the floor currently.
There
Yeah.
So it will be all new to them.
No, okay, yeah.
Right. Okay.
But the good thing is, there's nothing really we're voting on this year
Nothing this
anyway,
year,
so it gives
Right.
everybody, if you guys come up
You
with
get a
the
year to get the word out.
right, and then also this board is the only, this board can vote how the person is elected from Wardsboro, so it's not like it has to be voted on at town meeting to change the vote. But we would have to do it early enough so that Wardsboro people would have notice that
Right.
if they
Yeah, to
wanted to
get the
run, they'd have to
signatures
get
that they need.
right to get the ballot and stuff. Everybody good on that? Remember too, maybe people will watch you on
Oh,
TV
right,
and
yeah.
then say, "Oh, now I know."
Oh yeah, that's famous.
No, but they'll know how to what the position is. And
Okay.
budget vote in February 2019, as well as budget votes thereafter. So we have to do the first budget by Australian ballot. They have to be commingled. They'll be done on town meeting day in March of 2019, and Andy will have to set something up with the Wardsboro clerk and the Dover town clerk, which will hopefully be he. And then he'll have to somehow commingle and have a place to count the votes, and he will set all that up. There's no changing that. This board can vote to change to a voice vote at our annual meeting. It wouldn't be on town meeting day, but it would be on the second Tuesday in February from there on out. And we wanted to just get people's opinions on that. And Andy has a really nice chart that we gave last night to Anita, and she's going to put on the website.
This one?
That one, I can email you one in color
Yes, please,
though.
but I will take a paper copy also.
Okay,
And
If I can take
yes.
them.
you know, Andy listed some pros and cons. Andy, you want to talk real quick about them?
I can if you like.
We got a new member.
So, there's a little chart.
You wanna send me that online, I'll send it to the minutes.
Sure. So, email chart. Basically, the way Woodsboro and Dover vote our school budgets is from the floor. Anita, you were saying that Woodsboro, though they vote from the floor for their officers, they do it by paper ballot. Do they do that for their budget as well? Do you know?
The budget has always been just a voice vote.
Voice
Just a
vote.
voice
essentially.
vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the way we've always done things in both towns is voting the budget from the floor. That's what we're used to. And that is more or less the option on the right. Instead of, the Monday before town meeting or at town meeting in Dover's case, it would be at the annual unified meeting. The way it's currently set up, though, with the Articles of Agreement, is that the budget vote would be by Australian ballot. So those ballots will be printed by the middle of, they would be printed a month before the meeting. You could vote absentee. You would vote in a voting booth at town meeting to approve the budget or to disapprove the budget, as opposed to bringing it up on the floor, being able to make amendments, being able to ask the board about the budget. Historically, voting budgets by Australian ballot results in more budgets being voted down, because people who have an issue with the budget don't have those other outlets of amending the budget or even just being heard, hearing explanations. Their only option is to vote no. But the Australian ballot requires that, or it doesn't require, but it's set up to be on town meeting day, so you get a great turnout. Because you're gonna get a lot of people show up to town meeting day, somewhat less to show up to the Union School District meeting. There's pluses and minuses to both methods. Since the last time I spoke about this, though, the legislation that's being looked at as far as school funding goes, where it would move to a income tax, one of the key provisions of that is that the income sensitivity, where a budget number, you're insulated from that if you fall into the income sensitivity thing and get a prebate, that would go away, and your income tax would go up and down depending upon the budget number. And the state's idea there is to have more people with skin in the game, but it would make for more contentious budget votes, and in my opinion, make it more desirable than it is currently even to all get in the same room and be able to talk about the budget with these folks, hear explanations, make amendments. But those are your three options, more or less. There's many, you can move the pieces around and make many options, but those are the three basic options that you folks will have to decide and tell these folks what to do, how you want to vote your budget, what are your priorities in that, because it's gonna change no matter what, and it's gonna be different from what you're used to, and you have some control over that. You can tell them to change it. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to ask me.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Any
Thanks.
questions from anybody? And you're prepared to kind of say that at this school district meeting, right?
Sure, I
Yeah.
can do that.
You would appreciate that.
No
You
problem.
do it so eloquently.
Ah, thank you.
And
Lots of
then,
practice.
if there's no questions on that, then the last question is any other public concerns that can legally be discussed? None? Nobody's got anything? Anita's asking when our March meeting dates are. It'll be we probably won't meet the first Monday, will we?
That's what I'm trying to find out. That's
we
their
don't-
school
we
I
meeting.
don't have a calendar on me or a phone.
That's right. First Monday is our school meeting.
Right, so we won't meet that night. So why don't we just meet the 3rd?
For that month of March.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if it looks like we need more, have something that's important, I can send an email out to everybody, find out what's good, or have Bill do that, and then we'll warn another meeting. So the 3rd? No, we won't meet
Third
the-
Monday.
Oh, the third.
We'll meet the
Just the
3rd
third.
Monday.
Just
I'm
the
trying to
third
get it in
Monday.
the bucket, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, good question.
Unless something comes up and,
It'll be one meeting in March.
right now, yes. And that's, I don't know, whatever the date
It's
is.
the 12th.
The 12th? Is the 3rd Monday?
No, it's the 19th.
Has to be the 3rd Monday.
Oh, no,
Fifth
you're
and
right. You're right. No,
19th.
it is the 19th. Right.
Okay. It's good. If there's nothing else,
Mhm.
thank you all for coming.
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for staying 2 nights with us.
That's right. That's it.
All those in favor of adjournment say, Rick moved to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn. Exactly.
Dwight seconded
Seconded.
it. All those in favor say aye.
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 Great.
Good.
We're done, Peter.